Hey guys, what is up? Welcome back to a brand new video here today and some more F1 2020 My Team career mode content. Today we are here for the Russian Grand Prix. If you guys missed the last episode at Singapore, then go check it out guys. I'll leave a link up in the top right hand corner of your screen. But guys, let's get this episode underway. If you guys are new to the channel, we are so close now to 50k subs guys. So any help would be massively appreciated guys. So hit that red subscribe button if you are new to the channel and let's get today's episode underway. So here we are then on the laptop once again, and you can see on screen the weather forecast this weekend looking pretty good with no rain expected for the qualifying or the race, which is good. So we haven't got to worry about that, which we had quite a lot of, to be fair, in Singapore in the last episode. And then in terms of R&D this weekend, we have brought a couple of upgrades, but crucially we are still the second quickest team on the grid. So things are looking good, and there's nothing in the pipeline currently, so hopefully we'll add some upgrades at the end of the episode. We had a big flurry lately and we spent a lot of points. We managed to get all the way up to second place in terms of the team chart, but we need to try and add some more. So hopefully at the end of today's video, you guys will see some more, along with also a classic event. So keep your eyes peeled for that one. Either way, we then move into practice, and Sochi is a track that I don't love that much. It's not my favorite. It's probably in my top 2 least favorite, along with China. Just don't enjoy the track that much, and therefore I feel like my pace isn't that good. We finished practice, P1, so we managed to go quickest on the soft tires, and we got a pretty decent amount of team acclaim as well. And that meant, of course, heading into the end of the weekend, we are going to get that nice cash bonus, which is great. And after practice, we then moved into qualifying, and I can't quite tell where the car is this weekend. It seems like the midfield's really close. So you've got Mercedes who are really quick, and then after that it's literally a guess. Ferrari, Red Bull, ourselves, Racing Point. You can literally, it's a toss-up. McLaren, Renault, whoever you want to pick is in that mix. So yeah, with that said, we jump into Q1. This was my first time lap, and we go P9, which is okay. Ahead of Verstappen, just behind Gasly and Albon though. Eventually we got pushed down to P14, and we had to improve because of course only the top 16 go through, and this was the final run. So let's go for a lap of Sochi. I'm going to commentate this one, and then the one later on we'll leave it uncommentated, and let's see if this lap is going to be enough to get us into Q2. So here we go, down towards turn 2, down to 4th gear, picking up the apex, and then quickly back on the gas and trying to use the curbing to really get the power down there as we now keep the car nice and tight through turn 3. We're now going to open up turn 4, the right-hander, down to 4th gear, quickly back up to 5th to get and avoid the wheel spin out of there as we now go down towards the end of sector 1 and turn number 5, down to 4th gear, clip the inside curb, quickly back on the gas, and so far we're just over a 10th up on our personal best. We now make our way into this next right-hander, and very tricky to get the line right through here. All the inside curbs around Sochi tend to destabilize the car, and it does cost you time, so to get the perfect lap is quite difficult. We then go through the final of the corners here in the middle sector, and we now go onto the back straight, opening up the DRS, and we're about a 10th and a half up as we conclude sector 2. And we're going to see where we are compared to Pierre Gasly. We're a 10th quicker than him, so it's all down to this final sector. And on the brakes, underneath the bridge, right and then the left, and nice and tidy through there. We now open up this next one, the left and then the right this time through the chicane. Important to try and get the line right through here. Short shifting to 4th to maximize the traction out of there, and we're still only just a 10th up as we head into the final 2 corners, and we do find a bit of time through the penultimate one there, and then the final corner, getting the power down on the exit, and we cross the line and improve by nearly 0.2 of a second, and we go P9. So that small improvement takes us from P14 to P9, and that's how close the midfield is. And luckily for us, that lap was enough to get into Q2. Mick Schumacher also goes through in P13, so both cars into the second part of qualifying, but the midfield extremely competitive, and Verstappen and Albon also just scraping through in the Red Bull. But we then move into Q2. We're going for 2 runs in this session once again. This was my first one. We go P7, and Schumacher currently P5, so really good first lap from Schumacher in qualifying, but eventually we got pushed down to P12, and this was my final run in Q2. So let's see how the lap goes, and this one is going to be without commentary guys, so enjoy the engine sound, and let's see if the lap is going to be enough to get us into Q3. And here we go into the final corner now, throwing the car in. We do miss the apex, which was a bit of a shame. We didn't quite get the final corner right. I definitely think that was a 10th of a second we left on the table. And we do go up to P9 at the time, ahead of Mick Schumacher, but eventually others were able to improve, including Mick. And we got pushed down to P12 in the end, and Mick Schumacher P11. So it's not too bad, you know, starting just outside the top 10. But with the free tyre choice, it's going to be really, really key, actually, and give us a really good strategy option for the race. So I feel like we might benefit slightly from that. Meanwhile, though, you've got Sainz, who just got through along with Kvyat, Vettel as well. So those guys scraping by. Both Renaults looking pretty strong again this weekend. And Verstappen out along with Alexander Albon. So both Red Bulls out in Q2 as well. So there we go then, guys. That's it for the qualifying results. We're now going to move into an interview, and then we're going to move into the race.
What was your teammate's secret to success today?
I mean, I think he just done a better job, to be honest. Simple as that. I tried my best. The lap wasn't perfect, but credit to him. He done the best job.
Your qualifying pace didn't put you at the front of the grid. Will this be a problem tomorrow?
Not huge, but obviously you want to try and qualify as high as possible. That's the nature of F1, and we didn't quite achieve that today. But we'll make up for it in the race.
Appreciate your time.
And then looking at the rivalry breakdown after qualifying, Charles Leclerc does outscore us by 1 point. And in terms of the general rivalry, it's 23-20, so things are getting pretty close with this race and one more to go. So it's going to go down to the wire. Meanwhile, in terms of the acclaim, no real gains here. Everything stays pretty much unchanged. So there we go then, guys. That is it for qualifying. We're now going to move into the race for the Russian Grand Prix.
Welcome along then to Sochi and the Russian Grand Prix, one of 8 cities in the world to play host to both the Olympics and a Formula One race. It's a Grand Prix that's proven difficult to crack for anyone beyond the first 2 rows of the grid in recent years, so let's see if that can change today. Situated just 3 miles from the Georgian border, the 3.6 miles Sochi Autodrome has 2 notable overtaking opportunities into turn 1 and then turn 13. 18 corners in total here, 12 to the right and 6 to the left, and it's an average lap speed of around 130 miles per hour. With me today, of course, is Anthony Davidson. Let's talk about Martinez. They're starting towards the back of the field today in a car that is fast, so they'll be disappointed, won't they?
It's not a nice feeling, I promise you. They've got a quick car underneath them, but they've got onto the grid today and they need a pair of binoculars to see the start lights. They'll be desperate for a good start to make up for some of that deficit.
Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks for today's race. Lewis Hamilton lines up on pole position, and Valtteri Bottas will line up alongside. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Ricciardo, Leclerc, Sergio Perez, and Ocon, Vettel, Norris, Kvyat, and Mick Schumacher, Martinez, Gasly, Max Verstappen, and Albon, Giovinazzi, Stroll, Kimi Raikkonen, and Kevin Magnussen. Russell, Sainz, Latifi, and Romain Grosjean sits at the back of the grid. And now it's time to head down to the track.
Okay guys, so here we go. It's time for the Russian Grand Prix, and we are starting from P11 on the grid after a couple of penalties meant that myself and Mick gained a few places on the grid. Now for this race, of course, it's a bit overcast, but no rain is expected, and we're going to be starting on the soft compound tyres actually, because I feel like that's going to give us a pretty good advantage. I feel like if we can be aggressive at the start, we could maybe make some big progress. So hopefully that works out, and then we're going to go into the mediums, of course, later on in the race. Fuel-wise, I'm only going 0.2 over, so quite light in terms of what I normally do. I feel like that will also help in terms of us being aggressive at the start on the soft tyres. So the target is simple, really. Try and score some good points once again and maintain our positions in the championship. And of course, hopefully Mick can score a couple of points as well. But for me personally, I want to see if I can try and get a good start. That's going to be really, really important, and get the run down towards turn 2. With that said, guys, let's get racing. It's time for the Russian Grand Prix. Right then, let's see what kind of start we get as we get the revs up to about 11,000. The lights are on. And it's lights out and away we go. Not a bad start, pretty damn good. We're going to slice through. It's 4 wide here. It's going to be really, really close. Looks like Schumacher's backed off a little bit. We've got Norris though to the inside. Oh, that ain't going to end well, Chief. This ain't going to end well. We survive. We get away with it. Looks like we avoid the damage. Collision there with Kvyat, but we're up into P8. Looks like our front wing is okay, so we have survived. Schumacher back up into the top 10 as well. He's battling with Norris. Looks like we've got Vettel here who's at a poor exit versus Ocon. I'm going to go down the inside. It's tight. Vettel moving all over the place, but he gets a bit of a poor exit. And we take that position as we move up into P7. So there we go. Thank you very much. Esteban Ocon is the next car in the Renault. He's P6 in this race. Just double checking my wing. Yeah, we should be okay. Right then. What a start to the race. That's why we've got the soft tyres to start with. Even though I could have got mediums, I feel like it would have made us more competitive this way. So I'm happy to go with it. Right then, let's settle into a rhythm now. Let's see if we can try and make something happen. Hopefully our race pace is stronger than our one lap pace, because the one lap pace seems to be very bad this weekend. So let's see how this goes. At the moment we're doing okay. It looks like we lack a little bit of pace in some areas, but we're in the mix, which is good, and we are within Ocon's DRS, and Ocon of course within Perez's DRS, and then Leclerc's DRS. So we're in the mix. That's all we need. You know, if you're in the pack, the leading pack, you're going to have a lot of joy. So that's where we need to be. Good pace, personal best. We're keeping up quite nicely with the cars ahead. Kvyat now just holding on to Vettel, but then there's a big gap behind Kvyat, so there is definitely a top 9 breakaway. Meanwhile, it looks like Leclerc and Perez now battling away up ahead. Looks like at the minute we're running in a bit of a DRS train.
Moving to mix 2, fuel to mix 2.
Yep, we're doing okay for fuel. And like I was saying, we seem to be running in a bit of a DRS train, so nothing's really happening, which is a bit frustrating, but it's the way it is. Unfortunately, we can't do nothing at this stage. Kind of hoping really Perez and Leclerc really get stuck in and start battling quite heavily. That might present an opportunity. Also worth noting, Schumacher's currently P10, but he's battling with one of the Red Bulls, I believe, so that looks like a pretty interesting battle behind us. We're getting pretty close to Esteban now. I feel like he's starting to struggle with his tyres a bit. Perez is just starting to edge away in front. Tyre wear now starting to become a factor. Sebastian Vettel very close to me as well, behind. Trying to put some pressure on. We've got some very good straight line speed to defend, but this feels like Ocon struggling now to hold on to Perez and Leclerc, it feels like. Ooh, Ocon a bit slow out of there again. If I can just get a much tidier final couple of corners, maybe I can challenge here on the pit straight. That's better through there. Try and get the traction down this time, which we do. Okay, this could be a better one for us. I think we might even challenge here. Like I said, Ocon was struggling to hang on to the cars in front. But look at the speed of that Renault. I'm maxed out of engine power. We can't even lay a glove on Ocon. Nowhere near close enough in terms of straight line speed. We'll keep the pressure on though. Going through turn 3 here. Let's see if we can have a look at Esteban. Down the inside we go. There it is. Nice move. Had to force it a little bit. Ocon left the room on the inside and we went through. Purple first sector, of course. Job done. P6 as we approach now the pit stop phase. That was a crucial move. Okay, Ocon has now dropped out of DRS range. We're still sat behind these guys. I feel like I've got a bit more pace than these guys. I think the worn tyres are definitely stronger for me. I think on fresher rubber, the AI are faster, but at the minute I've got the edge. But we just can't make a dent really on the straight line speed. So we're kind of waiting until the pit stops, which are scheduled for lap 11 or 12. So this is when things are going to get interesting now to see what the pit stop phase does and who undercuts and overcuts respectively out of each team. But we're very close to Perez here. I'm going to try and go for a move on Perez, same one as Ocon, see if it pays off for us. Didn't quite get the final corner right, but that's okay. Look at that, Ricciardo and Hamilton in the pit lane. Ricciardo's going very well. Here we go then on Perez. We're going to try and make a move. We're a bit closer to him than we were to Ocon. But look at the speed difference. We just can't make a dent. Oh my goodness me, I had to straighten up the wheel. Had to straighten up the steering wheel there. Otherwise we was taking Leclerc out of the race. Whew, I really held my breath for a second there. Okay, Leclerc and Perez into the pit lane. We're staying up for one more here. Bottas pits as well. The team haven't called me to box, so we are going to take the race lead for a lap or so.
Push now. We're boxing this lap.
Right, we're going to use up the engine mode and push on this in lap.
Mick is in the pits. Mick in the pits.
Yeah, Mick in the pit lane. Right, then we need a big lap here. This is going to be really crucial. Oh, Giovinazzi out of the race. First retirement. Looks like we won't get a safety car though. Obviously, that would have been perfect. Unfortunately, it wasn't to be. Right, here we go. Then we're going to box this lap. It's been a great in lap. 2 personal best sectors, and we're pretty much neck and neck now with our personal best. Into the pit lane we go. Trying to push too much. Get it all slowed down. Wow, that was close. I thought I sped there, but somehow we held on to that. Well, I'm not complaining. Right, we need a big stop here. For once, I'm going to need like a sub 2-second stop. And we could be in the mix, to be fair, with Leclerc and Perez, who are still neck and neck on the racetrack. Come on, boys, we need a good stop here. Looks like there's a few hard tyre runners as well. 2.7, that's not good, but we could still be ahead of Leclerc and Perez. It's going to be close.
Look after these tyres now. We want to finish the race on this compound.
This is going to be very close. Overtake and rich mix out the pit exit. Look at this. Leclerc on the hard tyres. We are going to be just ahead of Charles Leclerc, and the overcut has worked out. Look at that. Absolutely brilliant. Medium tyres for us now as well. This is our chance to pull away. What a brilliant strategy. Time to perfection. The overcut working out. It was a perfect in-lap, matching our personal best when it mattered the most. Let's go. Right, there we go. Personal best, not by much. Stroll up ahead on mediums. We've got yellow flag on the back straight. Looks like it could be a Red Bull. It's Alexander Albon. Ooh.
The safety car has been deployed. Watch your
Interesting.
Make sure you keep it positive as we catch the pack.
Okay, so we've got Stroll in front. He's yet to pit. We've done our pit stops. We're on the medium tyres. And it looks like Hamilton leads from Daniel Ricciardo in second place. That Renault has been going extremely well lately. And Ricciardo's been proving that, especially with his driver rating increase in the latest patch. It's unbelievable how quick he is. But Bottas third, and we're going to be a net P4, which is insane. That goes to show how well our race has gone. The pace on the used worn tyres and also the overcut. All of it just coming together beautifully. What a race so far. Right, so Stroll should pit. There he goes. This is going to be interesting now because, again, we've got Leclerc on those hard compound tyres. So he's going to be a bit of a cork in the bottle. I think it's going to be the front three, myself and Perez, who really pull away. And I think Leclerc might hold some cars that are behind us. So it's going to be really, really interesting to see how this one kind of shakes out. I'm curious to see where Mick Schumacher is as well. Either way, P4 in the Russian Grand Prix. Right, it's time for the restart, boys. Lewis Hamilton will lead us away. He currently owns the fastest lap. That could get beaten, I think, in this final part of the race. Like I said, it's going to be on the hard tyre, so it's going to make things very, very interesting. Just trying to make sure I've got some temperature in my tyres here for the restart. We should be okay with these, I think. There we go. Back to racing speed we go. Let's see what the restart is like on the tyres. There we go. Lovely stuff. Tyres are nicely in the window. Now let's see how this all goes. Will Hamilton hold on? Can Ricciardo win this race? Will Leclerc hang on in P6 on the hard tyres? This is going to get spicy. Unfortunately, the Merc's just too quick, and so is Daniel Ricciardo, but Hamilton out front on the hard tyres. He's just pulling away quite easily. They're just such a strong tyre. I can't keep up, unfortunately. I don't have the pace. The front three just have too much in their pocket. So it's all about just hanging on to P4 now. And at the minute, Perez is keeping up with me. Leclerc is just about to drop out of DRS range. He's very, very close. He's just hanging on by the smallest margin. So hopefully we can establish that gap soon. Okay, Perez just rammed me, I think. I didn't feel anything, but I completely missed my apex for some reason. And Perez was all over my mirrors, so I think he just rammed me there. Leclerc's picking up his pace now. It feels like the hard tyres could be coming into their own a little bit. I just don't have the same pace on this restart. I was quite comfortable before the restart, but now we seem to be struggling a bit. But I think I've got enough in the tank to hang on the straights, which is the key area, of course.
Turbocharger is on its last legs. Let's try to keep mileage on it to a minimum.
Yeah, the engine's struggling a little bit, but we should be okay. Shouldn't be any issues. Bottas going for a move on Ricciardo, so Daniel Ricciardo will have to forfeit and give up on second place for now at least. Maybe he can claim back later on, but it feels like Bottas was just a bit too quick. The R&D graph doesn't lie. The Mercedes cars are just on another level at the moment in this career mode. I'm catching Ricciardo here, gap down to 1.8. Ever since Bottas passed him, and again it's the same phase as the last stint. Now Perez has actually dropped off a bit as well. It feels like on the worn tyres I've got a bit more pace. We've survived the early phase on the fresher rubber, and the safety car kind of gave everyone a second chance to get past, but now we're starting to push on here and pick up the pace again. Personal best, good pace from us. Gap to Ricciardo now, 1.4. We're closing in on Daniel here. We may just be able to nick a late podium possibly. 3 laps to go. Another personal best, bit of a scruffy exit, but we have got DRS on Daniel here. Let's see if we can try and get a bit closer and maybe try and pass him here. 2 laps to go. Oh man, we don't have DRS anymore. Ricardo's just picked up the pace a little bit. And I've also just run out of ERS and Rich Mix, to be fair. Perez is getting pretty close as well. We'll keep trying this lap, see if we can get any closer to Ricardo as we run up a bit wide out of turn 2 there. That's going to give us a bit of a poor run through here. Here we go then, classic AI behaviour. They give you a bit of hope and then they take it all away, because now Perez is actually trying to get past here. He's going to get the run on us. I'm going to run out of ERS and fuel. This is going to be so tricky. I'm going to have to defend. Perez to the outside. I'm not giving up this P4 without a fight. And there we go. We hold on crucially at the end. I think we'll settle for this 4th place. I tried to get 3rd. I ran out of juice, and the AI, as always, the last 2 laps, they just crank up their pace to try and go for the fastest lap. Either way, Hamilton will win it here today. Bottas picks up the fastest lap, making it a 1-2 for Mercedes. And we're going to come through in P4, and I'll take that. What a result.
That's the end of the race. We'll see you in Parc Ferme.
Another superb Russian Grand Prix comes to an end, and it's a thoroughly deserved victory. And talk to me, what do you think it was that sealed the win for them?
It was a question of right place, right time today. We were looking at an entirely different race before the safety car came out, but they were able to take full advantage after the field had been bunched up.
So after a magnificent race, we can now see the drivers making their way to the podium. Once again, it's the Silver Arrows who take top spot, a well-earned victory for Mercedes.
Well then guys, there we go. The race results are in. Lewis Hamilton finishes P1 here today ahead of Valtteri Bottas. Ricciardo 3rd, and another podium for him in the Renault. And they're really building up some serious momentum. That car is really quick. We finished P4 ahead of Sergio Perez. Leclerc ahead of Vettel, both Ferrari 6th and 7th, which is not great for them. Ocon P8, Kvyat 9th in his home Grand Prix. And Lance Stroll scores a final point, and I believe he beat Schumacher on the last lap of the race. So Mick unfortunately missing out on the points once again here today. Pierre Gasly P12, Verstappen 13th. Really poor race from Max as well, to be fair. Raikkonen, Norris then in P15, Russell, Grosjean, Magnussen, Sainz P19, Latifi, and then Albon and Giovinazzi out of the race. We then move into the standings, and we are still in 3rd place. We've got 36 points over Charles Leclerc, so we're looking pretty good in that regard, with I believe 5 races to go. And further down, Schumacher still P15 with Giovinazzi quite a way behind him, to be fair. We then move into the Constructors, and we are in 3rd place, and we're now 100 points ahead of Racing Point. So it's looking good. I think we've got this 3rd place on lockdown. Renault are continuing their push forward, but I think it's a bit too late for them to really challenge us. Either way, guys, that is it from me here today in Russia. We're now going to move into the laptop.
Did you struggle to get through all that traffic today?
Not really. I think we competed quite well. I think we did like a bit of straight line speed compared to everybody else, but generally the car was great. I can't complain, and we just pushed flat out the whole race. Simple as that, really.
Do you have any comments about the collisions?
Not really. Yeah, not really much on my end. I think it was a pretty clean race in my opinion.
Sounds like there's some work to do back at the factory.
Okay, so looking at the rivalry breakdown, first and foremost, you can see on screen we've got a pretty damn good chance of beating Charles Leclerc now. Things are looking very positive as we've outscored him this weekend, and we've got a nice advantage over him, which is really exciting. And we might actually be able to beat a Ferrari driver, and that's going to be really cool to see. And then one last thing, of course, is going to be the acclaim. Small gains there as always, and then of course the final cash bonus. We hit all of our goals. A small deduction on Mick Schumacher, but besides that, a good weekend and $10.4 million all in, which is absolutely awesome. Okay, so we are here on the laptop. We have 941 R&D points to spend, and also $10 million. First of all, though, let's assign activities. You've got quite a few days with an invitational event in between to kind of break things up. So, first of all, we're going to go for, I think, a funded team event. That sounds tasty, but it is slightly awkward in the sense that there's going to be a spare day there, which is not ideal. So, looking at the options, I am also tempted to do a secondary sponsor venue opening, and then we could do a sponsor event fundraiser. That would help in terms of getting some more team acclaim going. But having said that, also working on Mick Schumacher would be pretty decent because we need to improve. So we're going to go for race simulations and simulator training. We then move after the Invitational event. We've got 3 more days, and we're going to use those 3 for the secondary sponsor venue opening. That's going to give the team a slight bit of an acclaim boost. We then move over to the facilities. Now, we have $10 million to spend, quite a lot, so we are going to increase our resource point generation. So you can see here for the aerodynamics, $6 million for the next improvement. So we're going to get that on straight away, and hopefully that will arrive soon. We can keep on adding, so we'll try and go for the chassis next, and then go for the power unit or the engine. So yeah, that's looking pretty damn decent as well. And with that, we're now going to move, guys, ahead on the calendar and skip ahead to the Invitational event. Right, let's jump into it and let's see what the event has to say, and hopefully it's good fun. Okay, so what do we have to do here? It looks like finish the race in under 4 minutes. It's a race against the clock. So pretty straightforward, a time attack in the 92 Williams, which is going to be really, really fun. So let's jump into it and let's get this underway. This should be pretty straightforward, I think. Normally these classic events are, so I'm just going to take it easy, get to grips with this car, and hopefully we'll be able to pass with flying colours. There we go, lap 1 in the books, and we've got just under 3 minutes to go to complete 2 more laps, and a lap around here is usually about a minute 10, minute 15 in these cars maybe, so I think we should be more than fine to complete this as long as we make no major errors. Okay, it looks like we're going to have about a minute 30 to complete the final lap, which is more than enough time, so let's get this done. I don't think we should have any issues with this one. It's slightly closer than I thought, but we should still be fine. Here we go then, out of the final corner. It's all flat out to the line from here. It definitely was a bit closer than I thought, but we should still pass the line with about 10 seconds to spare. So in the end, a successful Invitational event, as there we go, job done, and we smash it out of the park. So that's going to give us an extra 150 grand, I believe, and also 1,000 points on the acclaim. So happy days, and that is another Invitational event ticked off the list. Let's get confirmation of the result real quick, and there we go, job done. Okay, so the event is done, and we have now 1,421 R&D points. I forgot to spend them just now on the first part of the laptop time, so we are going to spend them now. So let's have a look at the options we have. We do have some chassis ones on the way. It looks like we can't go any further unless we get a level 3 facility on the chassis, so we're going to have to look into that maybe quite soon. Engine-wise, we could definitely work on it. And looking at the options, I think I'm going to throw on another power upgrade to get more engine power. So this one is 1,200 points, so we're going to get that on the car. And that should arrive hopefully before the US Grand Prix. I'm going to rush it, and then if it fails, then we can always repurchase it. I think that's the best way to go about it. So let's get that on, and hopefully we should be okay on that front. And that's spent all of our points. We've got 2 big upgrades on the way. Those hopefully will help to close the gap to Mercedes up the top. But with that said, let's move ahead and let's get ready for the next race. Right then, there we go, job done, and the upgrade has arrived for the chassis this weekend at Japan. And also we've now got our improved aerodynamics facility with level 2 R&D point generation. So there we go, a pretty good episode today, guys, and overall I really enjoyed it. But that is it from me here today, guys, for this episode of the My Team Career Mode. If you guys enjoyed it, drop me a like and subscribe if you are new for daily F1 content, guys, on the channel, and also click the bell icon to be notified when that content does go live, and also finally check out the 2 videos on your screen right now. But guys, that's it from me here today, and I'll see you guys next time for the Japanese Grand Prix. But until then, take care, and it's goodbye from me.